Hello, this is Robin Kolner, and I'm going to be showing you Twitter today. The first thing that you notice when you log into someone's Twitter account is that there is a big picture, we call it cover art, explaining a little bit about what is important to them. It could be something about their business, or your business, or a hobby, or your professional pursuits. If you are running a Twitter account for a business, then this will probably be representative of the products and services that you offer. The cover picture can be changed at any time, and we can edit it, and I will show you the editing function in one moment. You will also notice that there is a profile picture. Because this account is for me, it is a professional account, but it is not under my business name. It is under my personal name. I put a picture of myself. Businesses often put pictures of their logo. You'll notice that the picture is not of me in a beach setting or in a recreational setting, but it is in fact showing me giving a professional workshop on Twitter, actually. The other thing that I want to highlight is the bio. The bio here, which is showing on the left side of the screen, represents everything that you want to say about yourself in 160 characters. That's all you have to use, but every single word matters because of the recommendation engine and search engine built within Twitter. If you want people to learn who you are and discover you and follow you, then it is important that you tell people what you are about, what you primarily tweet about. You don't have to say I tweet about, although I actually did in this case, because I want people to know what I tweet about, what they can expect to learn from my tweets, and I also want people to understand what they can expect from my tweets, and various outside platforms that provide recommendations of accounts for individuals to follow who are interested in learning more about social media and digital marketing will find my name and my account. Oftentimes, you will see people put personal information about themselves that maybe if it's an account that they're mostly using to follow other people related to a hobby they have, whether it's photography, surfing, writing, then that might make sense. You'll also see people talk about the fact that they're a great mom or a dad, or that they have a love of coffee. I find that that is helpful in terms of expressing personality, but it is not helpful in terms of getting found professionally as a recommended account. So you have a choice. There is no magic formula, but if you've noticed, what I've done here is I have described all of the different things that I do for businesses, for people who are my clients, as well as what I tweet about, all just using 160 characters. I use the word digital marketing. I use B2B and B2C, which stands for helping business to business and business to consumer businesses. I used a hashtag in front of the word social media and a hashtag in front of the word marketing, because if any journalist or writer searches those, you will be able to maybe discover my profile. I also put some of the other business pursuits that I have, for example, that I'm a professor at a university, and that I also offer social media training, and I am a speaker. And I decided not too long ago to add that I tweet social media tips and tactics. That's what you can expect from my account. When you first agree to follow somebody, you will then land on their Twitter profile. Click the word follow. You don't see that here because it is me looking at the back end of my profile. And you will see a couple of things. You will usually see the last couple of tweets that they've done, and you will be able to assess through their bio, through their recent tweets, through the date on their recent tweets, if they are somebody that you're interested in following back. That's really important. The way to build followers is to proactively follow other accounts. And when people follow you, every couple of days, look at the accounts who followed you and decide if you would like to follow them back. There is no reciprocity here. You are allowed to follow an account and have them not follow you back. You are allowed to have someone follow you. You don't stop them, but you don't have to follow them and see their tweets. You will also notice that there is a tally of the number of tweets that I've done since I've been a member of Twitter, how many people are following, I am following, and how many people are following me. Always try to keep this number similar, but it's better to have more people following you than you are following. Later on, I'll be able to show you a tip of how to go through and see how many accounts that you follow didn't bother to follow you back, and perhaps you want to maybe take them out of your following, and therefore that number will go down. It also shows the number of times I've liked certain tweets, which is really my way of expressing that I've seen it to somebody who has mentioned me, or in fact that I wanted to save that particular tweet and find it at another point in time. Let's say I was reading it on my phone. Here is another word that says that I have actually placed Twitter accounts in lists. This is the magic to managing the chaos on Twitter. If you don't set up lists, you will never be able to capture tweets from most of the people that you're interested in seeing. This particular tab just got rolled out 2 hours ago. That's right, 2 hours ago. It is September 29th, 2016, and it got rolled out at 3 o'clock in the afternoon to me. It is called Moments. Moments has been something that's been around for a year. That's up here. And that particular original concept of Moments meant it was Twitter's formula for providing up-to-the-minute real-time news to everybody who is on the platform. So when I clicked on this button at any point in time, I would get to see the top tweeted stories of the day at that point in time. And I think that they update it every few hours. Either a total of today, the election, I can follow the NFL, I can follow just straight news, I can get sports related news, entertainment related news, which is about the movie stars and the Kardashians, and anything that might be a little bit lighter in the humor category. So this is Twitter's way of saying, we know that people look to Twitter for real-time news, and therefore we're going to provide it to you in an easier way, almost like a summary. It is a summary, but it is also like a newspaper. This has been Twitter's current iteration of Moments. Today they rolled out to everyone a new extension for Moments, where we as individual users can create our own moments, which is done by taking a grouping of tweets that we like, let's say 10, which is similar to what you would have in an Instagram story or a Snapchat story, and combine them into a story so that when someone is viewing the first tweet in that story, they will be able to click through and see all 10 of them. The functionality is just rolling out. I tried to play with it. It isn't complete yet, so I will be showing you that in a different video. While I'm up here, I just want to reiterate a little bit about what you will find in these particular tabs. As soon as you log into your Twitter account, whether it is on your phone or on your desktop, you will see that you will automatically land in your home newsfeed, not in the profile that I started showing you. That is here. It's a little snapshot of it, and I had it blown up to show you initially. Why are you getting on your newsfeed? That is comprised of the tweets that all of the people that I follow, that's 2,255 people, have tweeted to me over time. I could go and I could scan that all day long to go down for every single tweet. So now you're beginning to see why the average half-life of a tweet is only about 20 minutes, where no one ever sees it after that again unless someone searches for it. That is a really interesting concept to think about. This is why I want you to pay attention to what I'm talking about when I say the concept of creating lists. I will get to that in one moment. That's how to build a following and how to make sure that you actually see tweets from the tweeters that you need to see so that you can build relationships with them. Back to the second column, we have moments. The third column is notifications. When I log into Twitter, the first button I click is notifications. Even though Twitter makes me land on my home feed, I usually don't even look at the home feed. What I do is I go first to notifications. That shows me all the times that people have communicated directly with me, interacted with me, used my handle, the @RobinKollner name, or mentioned me in a tweet, or retweeted something, or liked something that I tweeted, or put me in a list. This is the magic, and this is where I can see, for example, that this person liked a tweet that I was mentioned in. Someone else actually tweeted about me, digging into social media's many platforms with @RobinKollner at her Fordham Digital class. This is one of my students. Therefore, I clicked the heart. The heart will generate a message to the tweeter, George Delancey, letting him know that I saw the tweet. It's like a hat tip. It's I liked you, thank you. I could also retweet George if I wanted to, but what that does is that actually puts his tweet in the feed of all the people following me, which I believe is 2,700 people, and it looks a little self-serving, so I may not want to do it because it is a bit of a bragging concept. I see in the very first notification, a number of people have followed me. 10 people have followed me. I can actually go through this list and decide if I want to follow them back. So here is a woman that I want to follow. She's one of my students. And right here, right now, I am going to not only follow her, but I'm going to have to put her in a list. So let's see how I go about doing that. I click on Lisa's name. This is also where I could click to follow her. Right next to it is something called a gear, and in the gear you will see more user actions. Let's click that and see what's there. I can tweet directly to her. I can send her a direct message, which is a private message that no one else sees, and I can add or remove her from lists. Aha, this is the one I want. So let's click it, and what populates now is a list of all of the lists that I created. These are the buckets that I put important tweeters in. The reason I do it is because I don't have time to look at the Twitter feed 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And people tweet 24 hours a day, 7 days a week at various times. Therefore, the accounts that are most important to me, which are people who tweet about my industry, those would be social media professionals, so I'm going to be learning things from them, or people who are professional strategic partners of mine, those would be Westchester professionals, so they're not necessarily in my business, but they've either done business with me, they've come to my workshops, they know me professionally, we are part of the similar networking groups, and they're friends, and they have often retweeted me in the past, and they've been interested in the kinds of tweets and the kinds of tips that I give them. Here's another bucket where I'll call it the personal friends. These are friends where I could simply tweet to them privately, because there is a technique for doing that, or I can follow what they're saying to me and I can see it. Whereas on Facebook, I may miss it because Facebook has an algorithm built in. Here is another group of publishers that publish information about social media. So let me just give you an example of what a list looks like. Let's click into it. Well, we put her into the Westchester list. Here we can create a list and name it. If we want to say another list, which would become social media students. And I can decide to make this list public, which means anybody can follow the list. Believe it or not, you can follow lists and you're not actually following the people, but you get to see all the tweets from those people. or private. And since it would be something for my students, I would make it private so that other people don't know that they're in the class. And then I save the list. Now let's see if I can go in and I can see who are in here. I'm going to have to get out and get back in again. All righty, so let's go see, and let's go back, and we will go back to my account, to my home feed, and then I will get back into checking my list and show you. A lot of times you have to refresh the browser. In this category, and I'm going to go back to the list in a minute, is messages, and I didn't want to skip over this because it's the next tab. What is messages? Messages, it refers to direct messages. These are people that have actually sent me a private message. Now, in the case of the top three that you see here, digital branding, strong social, and M3 junior growth strategies, these are actually automated messages that were sent out, that they actually send out to every single person that follows them. There are outside software platforms that offer this functionality. So it says, thanks for the shout out. Be sure to comment on our blog as well. Just as a helpful hint, most of us in the business of social media feel that these are a little disingenuous and not authentic. And people don't really like those automated messages. Here is a message, however, from a brand, Asia Miles, which is a frequent flyer program for Cathay Pacific. They have actually answered one of my questions, which is an important thing to do. Now, I have enabled notifications so that if somebody actually sends me a direct message, I will always get that an email sent to me. And the reason, notice that Twitter just answered me. Well, you didn't see this, but to move my screen up there, I got a text message saying that I will be able to get notifications every time I get a direct message. If you are a brand, you really, really, really want to have customer service handled through direct message and not through public messaging. So definitely make sure that you get notifications of when somebody direct messages you so you don't forget to return it, the message. We all live in our email box more than we live anywhere else. Okay, so now what are we looking at? We're going to go back to our profile and settings so I can show you a few more tips and tricks. In order to get to those lists again, and I can show you what the accounts look like in the lists, I need to click through like this. Now you will begin to see that who is a member of each of these and how many are in them. And you'll notice I set some up for Fordham, I've set some up for politics because I often teach in my classes about the election cycle and the impact of social media on the election cycle. I follow certain key news sources, everything from TechCrunch to Bloomberg News. I follow people who write about business to business and small business and Facebook and search engine optimization, people who are related to me through my alumni network at Wharton, marketing professionals. So let's just go in and see who might be in the Westchester professional bucket. There are 224 accounts, and every single person that I have put into this list, I will get to see their tweets, whether they've expired or not. And so that is critical because, for example, Lisa Caslin is a public relations specialist. She is a colleague of mine. She lives in Northern Westchester, and we often like to look at each other's tweets and retweet each other. So this gives me the opportunity to do that. I would never be able to do that easily by just randomly going into Twitter. Here is the reason I have WOR News Talk Radio was because I was affiliated with them and doing a program with them at one time. And there are other people who, you notice that a lot of people tweet a lot and some people don't tweet very much at all. Lisa Reyes is a reporter for News Channel 12. She was a student in my class last semester, and she took the entire professional certificate program. And she sometimes calls me in to give my opinion on certain aspects of social media related to some news items in Westchester. So this allows me to make sure, Westchester Magazine, etc., that I don't miss anything that I need to know. And you'll also notice as I scroll through this that there are certain people who tweet a lot, like Lisa, and there are certain people who don't tweet that much at all. This gives you an idea of who might be more influential and who isn't. The other thing you might notice is a little orange number next to every single tweeter's name. The little orange number is coming from an outside platform. I downloaded that platform and allowed it to interact with my browser so that it indicates to me who is influential and who isn't. So for example, it's an influence score, and the name of the site that did this is Klout. It's now been bought by another site, Klout. And Klout actually connects with all of the accounts of an individual and allows that it comes up with a score for how influential they are. And that is based on how many followers they have who actually take action, engage with their content, use their handle as an @mention, retweet them, or call them out. And that is what is important, because not all fans are created equal. And if you have time, it's better to be retweeted by someone with a higher score. Now, when this site first came out as an influence measuring site, all of us connected our accounts and we got scores, and large brands actually offered us premiums, those of us that had scores over 55 or 60, which I have. And so you'll notice that in some cases it was excellent. People Magazine comped me for gifts, dog food companies gave me gifts. So that is actually really important. So what you want to know here is that you can actually see all the members in my list. Why this is important is when you turn to figuring out who you want to start to follow, you can go to influential people in your industries, even competitors in your industries or in your professions, or mentors, and connect with the members who are in their list. If they have put people in lists they think they're important and worth following, you may also. And you can actually follow my list. You don't see that functionality here because I am in my account. That is the last thing I'm going to talk about in this tape, and in my next video I am going to be going through the profile settings.